Hey Web World, Scotty D, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I know, my office is still a disaster area. It's in construction, trust me. In a few short weeks, I'm going to be in a brand new studio, going to be much better. But until then, the focus is not on this. The focus is on Apple this week. It has been all the rage, the talk around the entire globe with the iPhone 5C and the iPhone 5S being released today. Are you the one standing in line for one? Don't lie, I can see you right there. And of course, iOS7 being released this week. And this is my iPhone 5. I did the upgrade to iOS 7, and I'm going to give you my thoughts in my review about iOS 7 right now. Let's start by showing you the brand new home screen. There you have right there the new font that they're using. Very simple, but a visual presence feature that they have on this, and you can almost make it out on camera, is how the stars on this particular background float behind the date and time. Kind of a neat new feature there. The camera is still on the main screen, so you can still press the button and get to your camera real quickly right there. And this dash right here at the bottom, if you slide it up, if I can get it, you get what they call the Control Center, which is brand new to iOS 7. Gives you quick access to airplane mode, turning your Wi-Fi on or off, the Bluetooth on or off, putting it in sleep mode, locking it, also adjusting your screen brightness, your volume up and down, forward and back on your music play, turning on and off your AirDrop, which is really nice. I'll talk about that. Now, a new feature to this on the Control Center, let me turn it back up here, is the flashlight. Got to put a lot of flashlight apps out of business on the App Store, but it does come with a flashlight now. It comes with a timer. The calculator is right there, and the camera all are accessible at the swipe up of your finger in the Control Center. And we'll talk about the Control Center in a bit because there are some security features that people are concerned about having this on the home screen, and we'll talk about those in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and slide to unlock and get into the home screen. All right, here is iOS 7. What do you think? Pretty clean, right? I like it. I really do. I've got to be honest. At first, I was a little taken back from the way it used to look like to now how it looks like, but I do like it. Very minimalistic. Some argue that it looks childish. Some argue that it looks like it's a ripoff of Microsoft's phone, but you know what? You can argue till you're blue in the face. Let's just take it for what it is. It's iOS 7. Now, one of the first things I noticed about iOS 7 when I first got it up and running was I tested all of the functionality. I tested the phone. The phone was no issue. I was able to make calls, receive calls, make text, receive text. But when I started making text, I noticed an issue. The keyboard was not responsive. And let me show you what I mean. Let me just double tap here on the bottom and go to Notes and go up here to the top. And I'm going to create a new note. So there we have the notepad. That's what it looks like in iOS 7. And when I started to type, the keyboard was non-responsive. Edgy. That's what they just autocorrect. I love autocorrect. I've got to tell you, it's funny. Every time I do anything and it autocorrects me, it's just really funny. So you've seen how responsive that is. Well, when I first did the upgrade, it was non-responsive. Almost a 15 to 20 second delay from the time I typed to the time it presented itself on the screen. And doing backspaces was equally as frustrating. It just was not responsive. So I really started getting concerned that I did a bad choice of upgrading to iOS 7. I thought, well, it's not going to run good on my iPhone 5, even though they said it would. So I started doing some quick research, and I noticed online that this issue that I had been presented with had been recognized all the way back to Beta 1, and it's still here. That is just mind-boggling. So the fix to that, if you happen to upgrade and your keyboard becomes non-responsive, let me show you how you go ahead and fix that. I'm going to go ahead and type the, double tap the home button, come over here to the settings. By the way, that's how you multitask, and we'll show you the multitasking in more detail here in a second. And I went into my settings, then you go down to General, and you tap on General. Then you go all the way down to the bottom, and you click on or tap on Reset, and then you go up to Reset All Settings. That is what fixes the keyboard sludge issue in iOS 7. So if you happen to get it, just go to your Settings, General, then go down to Reset All Settings. It doesn't delete any data on here. It just resets the settings on the iPhone, and it brings you back to a very functional iPhone 5 or iPhone 5C or iPhone 5S, or if you're doing this on iPhone 4. On any one of those, if you get the issue, that's the fix that I was able to find. So that's what you got right there. One of the things you will also notice in iOS 7, and it's kind of a new thing that's in iOS 7 that if you don't know what's there, it's going to bypass you. And that is if you go over to your compass. This is your compass. I've got it in my utilities folder, grouping of apps. If you go into your compass, the compass looks like this now. To calibrate it, you just move your iPhone around a couple of minutes and or a couple of seconds here, and it'll calibrate itself to know how to use it. And then I'll go this direction and see if we can get it to stop. There we go. It's calibrated itself. Now, down here at the bottom, you notice that the compass now has 2 dots. If you slide over, now you have a level. So if you move your phone around, you can actually get a very rudimentary basic level to use on your iOS 7. So if I put this on the table, you'll notice that my table is completely flat, and you know that the screen turns green and you have 0 degrees on the table itself. So you can move it up and you can see all of the different angles. So something new in iOS 7. Now, multitasking in iOS 7 is very simply tapping on the home button down here. So if I double tap on it, you can see all of the apps that I have running, and just take your finger and slide it left to right, and you'll see all of the apps that I have open and running. Kind of nice when it comes to seeing all of what you have running at one time, and it's a little bit cleaner than iOS 6. Now, to get rid of an app or to close an app, simply take your finger and swipe upwards, and then it will close the app. Now, if you don't lift it and throw it, like take it and throw it like that, and it gets rid of it, and you go something like this, you take it and you go, wait a minute, I didn't mean to close that. I don't really want to close it. Just drag it back down. You'll be just fine. So if you take it and let it go, as long as it's not halfway out, it'll go ahead and release back down into running state. So that's how you multitask in iOS 7. One of the other features that is different in multitasking in iOS 7 is Safari. So let me scroll over here. I know I have Safari running somewhere over here. There's Safari right there. Now, Safari, when you open it up, it stacks your open web pages like this now. It used to be side by side. Now it's up and down. And you can see all of the pages that I have opened up in Safari. Now, if I click on Safari, on a page in Safari, if I click on that, it'll open up that page, and it'll say that's what we've got going on Apple. Now, to go back to where you were just at, come right down here onto the bottom. Let me see if I can get the screen to focus. Right down here on this side, there we go, right there. If you tap on that, it'll bring back up all of the pages that you have going on in Safari. And to close a page, it's real simple. Right here on the left side of the home or the web page that you're browsing, there's an X, and you can go ahead and click on the X, and it'll close out the page. So that's how you multitask in Safari. Now, a feature that you want to be aware of is notifications. In the notifications center inside of your settings screen, let me go up here to notifications, settings, and notification center. There we have right there. You want to be aware of how notification center works. You see, if I go down to the apps that I have running in my notification center, and let's just say Passbook for that matter. If I go into Passbook, I've got a couple of things. In iOS 6, there used to be an on-off switch up here in the upper right-hand corner. That's no longer there anymore. Everything is below the alert styles now. And what I've found is you want to turn on or off anything that you don't want to happen. So show in notification center, show on lock screen. Let me show you another app here, one that is a downloaded app. So for instance, Skype. If I want Skype to alert me, I've got the option to have it as a badged icon. I have a sound. I have show in notification center, include it in my recent items, and show on lock screen. Now, what I found is if I turn off all of these, the alerts still happen. So I've got to go up here even after I turn off all these and make sure that I tap on none and make sure that that elliptical oval right there is underneath none, or I still get banner updates. if the oval is on there. If I'm here, it'll still pop up as alerts. I don't know why. It's just a bug that I've found that if I turn all of these off, so if I go through all of these and turn them off, it still pops up a banner telling me about something that's going on Skype. I don't really like that, so what I found out is if I don't want it to pop up, I turn all of these off, and I also move the alert style to none. One of the other features that I found different in iOS 7 was in text messaging. Now, I'm going to bring up this text message. I don't really care if you see it because it's to a business that I was taking my vehicle to get some maintenance on, but I noticed that just to the right of this, in iOS 6, there was a timestamp of when I received the text. Now, in iOS 7, it's not there, but it is. To see it, all I have to do is take my finger on the actual text message itself and swipe it to the right, and you'll see that if I could get the camera to focus in, you could see as I slide it, you could see that the time shows up of when I received that text message. So that's kind of nice. Another feature different in iOS 7 is how you're going to do your Spotlight searches. Previously, you'd actually swipe all of your icons to the right and Spotlight would show up right then and there. Now, if you grab onto your icons and slide down, you get the Search iPhone, which is your Spotlight now. If you want to get above that, if you come up to the clock and you grab it and pull down, you'll get a completely different set of things going on, and that is your alerts and your calendars and your appointments. So 2 different features in swipe down. One, have your fingers on the icon and pull down. That's where your Spotlight comes up. Come all the way up to the top where your clock is showing and pull that down, and you get your alerts and your calendar appointments and things like that. Another cool feature on iOS 7 is one that wasn't very much discussed, if any at all. It's an Easter egg of sorts that's hidden inside of Safari. This is your Safari icon, so let me go back into that. And here are all of the web pages that I have up right now inside of Safari. Let me go ahead and open up mine. This is my website. Now, on the bottom of Safari, as you're browsing, you'll see some icons. This one right here is your bookmark menu. So if I click on that, it'll show you all of the bookmarks that you have. Yeah, I don't have very many bookmarks. So you have your bookmark icon right here, your reading list right here, but off to the right is a @ sign. Now, if you have a Twitter feed and you are logged into your Twitter account, if you tap on that, it'll actually show you, well, let me go back in here because I fat fingered that. It'll show you all of the feeds that you follow on Twitter so you can stay in touch and in tune while you're on Safari. Very, very, very cool. Another cool feature in iOS 7 is the App Store and its ability to automatically keep your apps updated. I love that. That was one of the things I did not like about iOS 6 is having to stay in tune with that icon right there. And there will be a number circled in red that always popped up next to it, and it depended on how many apps needed to be updated. That's the number that it showed. You'd have to go into the App Store, and you'd have to manually update each one of those or say update all. Now App Store can automatically manage and update your apps by itself, and you don't have to be bothered by that anymore. Some people like that, some people don't, but this is how you can turn it on or off at your leisure to take advantage or do away with that feature in iOS 7. Come over here to the settings, click on settings, scroll down over here to the iTunes and App Store area, click on that, and then scroll down over to this section for automatic downloads. The updates is where you want to pay attention to. As long as that is green, your apps will stay automatically updated. I like that. Now, right below this is a very important on-off feature of the updates area. If you have this enabled like this, and you step away from your Wi-Fi network, your apps will still stay automatically updated. But it will use your data plan on your cell service. So be very careful. If you don't want to use your data plan and only update automatically when you are around a Wi-Fi network, go ahead and turn that feature off, and it won't be bothered by updating when it's on a cellular network only. It will only update automatically if you are on your Wi-Fi. In iOS 6, you can go in and you can make groups of apps that you like to keep together, like games. If you had games, you could go in there and group all of your games together, but you were limited by the number of apps that you could group together. That's no longer an issue in iOS 7. But what will be different is if you have multiple pages of apps. What will happen is only 9 icons will show at any given time. And if you have more than 9 icons, a little white dot will show right at the bottom, and then you can swipe left or right depending on where you're at in your dots to find the rest of your programs. So that's how you can group more than the number of apps allowed in iOS 6 in iOS 7 and still be able to scroll through the apps that you have. Now, the feature that Apple talked a lot about during their press conference, where the icons look like they're hovering over the background, you know what I'm talking about. If you look between the news and weather group and the travel group that I have set up here, look at the stars, and they look like they almost fade away behind the groups as you move the phone and you're looking at it. Now, a lot of people are saying that's more style than function, and they're worried about it draining their battery down. Now, to turn that off, all you have to do is go up to Settings and go down into the General, and then go into the Accessibilities area, and then scroll down over here. In the Reduced Motion area, if you take that and you turn it like that, it will actually take that background and stop it from moving at all. It makes it stick in place. So if you don't like those stars moving around, that's how you stop it. And don't forget the feature that Apple quietly introduced last year with iOS 6, the ability for them to use your unique identifier of your iPhone and your browsing activity to target you with ads. And, you know, while Apple still says it's anonymously, a lot of people still think it's an invasion of privacy, and I happen to agree with that. So to make sure that that is turned off, go into Settings, then go down into Privacy, and then go all the way to the bottom into Advertising. Take a look at that. If that is turned on, that means that they can track you. If it's turned off the way that I have it, it is disabled. AirDrop can be activated or deactivated from your control center, and what AirDrop is it's your way to transfer files between your iOS device and another compatible iOS device over a hybrid protocol. And what it is, it's a blended protocol between Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, so it's not only fast but very secure. And if you don't want the control center showing up on your lock screen like such, then it's real simple to disable that. All you have to do is unlock your device, go into your settings, then go down here to Control Center, and then you can disable that on lock screen and disable it within apps. And finally, 2 questions from the community. The first is, will I be upgrading my iPhone 5 to the iPhone 5C or 5S? And secondly, if there was one accessory that I could recommend to the iPhone 5C, 5S, or even the iPhone 5, what would it be? Well, first off, no, I will not be upgrading to the iPhone 5C or 5S. I'll be holding out to the iPhone 6 coming out next year. And secondly, if there was one accessory that I could recommend to the iPhone 5, 5C, or 5S, it's this little dongle right here. It's Lightning to HDMI. And what it allows you to do is mirror your screen out HDMI to any HDMI device, be it a large screen TV, a projector, or anything like that, while still keeping your device charged, because this device, this dongle, has a plug for your Lightning charger right there. So very cool, and I'll put a link in the video description where you can get one of these for yourself. So there you have it, a quick look at iOS 7. If you haven't upgraded yet, now you know what you're in store for. And if you have already upgraded, hopefully I've been able to add some new features, tips, and tricks to your iOS 7 experience. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so. Share this video with everybody you know, and until next time, we'll see you, Web World.